Hello everyone, we are going live right now, and it's a regular Cats podcast about Red Dead Online. And today I would like to welcome back the professional on this podcast. So hi, dude.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And before we're waiting for the first viewers, I will briefly explain to people who will watch this later what's gonna happen. As usual, I'm gonna be doing something relatively easy on the screen, like looking for collections and stuff like this, and we're gonna be discussing different topics with my guests, the professional, and obviously the main topic of discussion will be the expectations from the summer update in particular and from Red Dead Online in general. So, dude, last time I've checked, and we were talking on January on this podcast, and like it was not super optimistic conversation, let's say. But now, with Rockstar announcing at least something, but in such a long, after such a long wait, what's your what's your general, expectations from the future of this game and summer
I
update in
mean,
particular?
I'm excited and I want to be excited, but at the same time, I understand. No, we might not get that big of an update. It could just be a few new missions, maybe even Telegram themed missions where you just get connected to a lobby and just do something like a small online story mission. I want it to be more than that, but I'm keeping my hopes high, but at the same time, as I'm also expecting the worst.
Even though they kind of announced robberies and it's criminal activity, something that we've been asking for a long time.
I mean, I don't know if they really announced robberies. I mean, I get where you're coming from like that with that, and I kind of understand it. But at the same time, robberies could just be like a story mission that you just invite somebody to, and you might be something that you just do like once or twice. You get a good payout the first time, and you never do it again. They also remember they added technically they added a bank robbery like almost 2 years ago, exactly right around this time of year, May 2019. They
Yeah.
had those story missions, and they had that one Saint Denis bank robbery with Samson Finch, and that was just this really a story mission, and people got really bored of that after it came out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the story mission, and it's technically a robbery, but I mean, this time they should have learned something, and plus, all the recent big content we're receiving only as a parts of the roles. Plus, I mean, my strongest arguments, in my opinion, against this predictions that robberies will just gonna be a stranger mission or telegram mission or some other crap like that is that I just don't see how Rockstar will monetize it. And it's kind of silly for them to add new content that no one is really asking for, because no one needs new stranger missions, right? Instead of adding this content in a form that they can make some money on, sell some gold bars. So that's why I'm staying optimistic, because I still believe that the greed should win here, and stranger mission robberies as a stranger missions, it's not only stupid, it's not greedy, and that's definitely not something that Rockstar would do, in my opinion. So but I know, but I mean, your point of view is like super popular. I sorry, I have to say hello to anyone who joined chat, and people are asking where is Mr. Boss for for the win. I mean, it's summer update for the win. It's not necessary using these three letters means Mr. Boss. There is no Mr. Boss here, I hope. It's just me and professional and you, everyone in the chat. Anyway, hello to anyone, and we continue. But more specifically, Patrick, what do you think? Like, will we when will we get this summer update in any form,
I
whatever it's
think
gonna
it'll
be?
probably be in June. I think it's because it's probably gonna be like the week after Outlaw Pass 5 expires. 'Cause that's May 31st, and that's a Monday, and then it's a Tuesday right after that, which is June 1st. And Rockstar, they usually update the news wires on Tuesday, so I think it'll be on Tuesday, June 1st possibly. If not, maybe one week after.
Okay, so there is another predictions I have. I actually agree with you that something should happen on the June 1st, but what if we're gonna receive some smaller update, with 20 levels of Outlaw Pass and like a little bit of content, and then, I don't know, in August or September we will receive some big summer update, because traditionally updates in Red Dead Online are biggest in the summer month. They have big update in summer and small update for GTA Online, and vice versa. Smaller update in December for Red Dead Online and like big update for GTA. What do you think of such theory?
I mean, they could. You could be right, and they could release, the big update in August. But at the same time, I can't see them, really launching an Outlaw Pass on its own, because if they added an Outlaw Pass 5, I mean Outlaw Pass 6, it would just be like 2 months, June, July, and then maybe August when we get it. Like if they did something like that, I think people would be furious. Even if they were to get a big DLC in August, just the fact that people have been waiting for so long, and after what they did with the last DLC, Outlaw Pass 5.
Yeah, it makes sense actually. It's the strongest argument why if there will be big update, it should be added like as soon as possible, in my opinion. But Rockstar doing kind of weird stuff, and so it's kind of hard to predict what is gonna be. But anyway, if there will be some sort of an update on the 1st of June, I bet we will see some kind of spoiler on Friday. So we will find it out pretty soon. But look, so when we were talking in January, like we were discussing that Rockstar should update the game much more often than they do. And since then, we got pretty much nothing in the game, because I'm pretty sure that you will agree with me that Outlaw Pass 5 is a joke. It's not a content.
Oh, yeah.
It's not an update. I bet you here, like with me and pretty much with all other players, and I was probably even offended by this Outlaw Pass. Okay, give me your impressions when you saw Outlaw Pass 5, like how you reacted. Were you surprised, or was it a pleasant surprise?
Oh, I was really surprised with Outlaw Pass 5. The thing is, right around the time that Outlaw Pass 5 was coming out, I was expecting, one of two things. I was expecting that either, we don't get any kind of update and the thing gets delayed for some time, or I was expecting that we were going to get an Outlaw Pass and we were just going to get a role expansion, something like the Bounty Hunter's prestigious Bounty Hunter, but with another role. Maybe I thought it was maybe like a trader expansion or something like that. Nothing big, but just something like that. That's the thing about Outlaw Pass 5 is Outlaw Pass 5 is the first time that they released an Outlaw Pass with no new content whatsoever, just the Outlaw Pass, and I don't think people were really expecting it. People were either expecting a small role expansion, people weren't getting their hopes up massive, but they were expecting at least something, a small role expansion or, an update to be delayed. I wasn't expecting that they were just going to drop an Outlaw Pass with no content, and that got me really furious. And I like to refer to it as the nothing update. That's that's what I've called it on my streams, the nothing update for Outlaw Pass 5.
I mean, some people say that it's better than nothing, but I kind of disagree with this. Like, it's not much better than nothing, in my opinion.
I call it the thin line between nothing and an update.
Yeah,
That's basically what it is.
Okay, but maybe you have some ideas or theories why they have done it. Like, why for the first time ever we received only Outlaw Pass without like anything else. Like, at least something like Telegram missions could have been there as well, or as you said, some small extension to the trader role, for example.
Well, it's two things: laziness and greed. That's what I really see it as. Because I'll tell you something. I was talking about this on my stream a few weeks ago, and how Rockstar could have handled the situation much better if their update was delayed or whatever. What they could have done is they could have just released Outlaw Pass 5 for free. They could have just given it to everyone for free, and they could have been like a post on a newswire say, "Guys, sorry, due to difficulty, our next update is delayed, but here's a teaser of what's to come. We got robberies or properties or whatever else is to come, and they like show us what's to come in like the next few months. And here in this time, we're giving you guys an Outlaw Pass for free to compensate for that." If they did something like that, yes, some people would have still been pissed that the update's delayed, but at least people would have been more understanding. The fact that they just drop an Outlaw Pass, expect 35 gold, and don't have any content in it whatsoever, they're hoping that basically people spend money on nothing. That's basically what they're hoping on.
I actually, you said just a pretty good idea here, and if Rockstar were thinking about the communities, that's exactly what they should have done or would have done. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was, if it was for free, like people would be pleased. Actually, people would say, yeah, I mean, we understand, like it's a pandemic, you like running out of schedules or something, but at least we have something. But it was pathetic. This Outlaw Pass 5 or 35 gold bars. Yes, you can get all the gold back if you will buy it as soon as came out, but still, why not making it for free? And they attempt it's their attempt to make money in a situation where they like should not do it because it will only piss off the community, and I just don't get it. But I mean, in many situations they could have done so much better. Even recent, like last week, not last week, this week actually, 8 new race maps. I mean, tell me, Pro, are you even take part in races?
No, the only time I really do them is for a daily challenge. That's the only time I really do them.
So you were not like super
And
happy
also
about.
the races at times can be really toxic. Because
Oh
it's
yeah.
like what's the name of that race? It's the race where you kind of run around and try to find checkpoints. You don't have a clear path. What's that called again? I forget the name of it.
Open race, I guess it's
Open
open.
race, I
Yeah.
think, yeah. The thing about open races is like I guess it takes a little bit challenge to try to figure out what pattern you want to go with. But what's really annoying about those races is that you'll get the majority of the checkpoints. You'll do really well. You'll maybe have like 2, 3 checkpoints left, and then some idiot will just smash into you with their horse. You'll fall off, and then what will happen is you'll respawn. The timer will get delayed maybe by 30 seconds, and by that time you're already like fifth or sixth place, and you can't
Yeah,
catch up, and the race
I
is
actually
over.
had this when I was recording video. I wanted to do because I usually don't join races unless I want to make some footage, and I had exactly the same situation as you described, and it was annoying. And I mean, I'm not the biggest expert in the races, but I believe even in this mode we can pick up weapons, right? Even in open race where you have to cross all these checkpoints. I don't remember for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
but
but the
but why? Why do we need weapons in such game mode? Like, what's the point?
The thing is, the weapons in the mode, they don't really bother me. The shotguns can be a bit annoying. The pistols I think are fine, but what I find the most annoying is just when you crash into people on horses, or when they intentionally try to smash into you. They knock you off the horse, and then your screen goes black. You respawn back on the horse. You can get the. I've had like spawns that are like over 30 seconds long on that, and by that time,
Yeah.
30 seconds being delayed, the race is over. You've lost at that point. You can't catch up. So like maybe if they did something where you couldn't smash into people, maybe they did it where there's a separate mode where everybody's like invisible to each other. You can't hit each other, and then it really takes more skill to actually hit the checkpoints instead of just smashing into each other. But that's the problem with GT Online too, with the races. People just smash into each other versus who actually gets the place first.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes I don't know whether you've seen such players or not, but I quite often see them. They don't do any objectives, especially in this open race. They just pick up shotgun and ride around killing anyone with painted black.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I
so
see that.
why are the weapons? The only reason for Rockstar to add weapons on such maps is to encourage such toxic behavior. Like, to
You,
make people suffer in their own game mode. On one hand, to make people suffer, on the other hand, to some toxic people, to give some, joy for these toxic people. And I don't see why it's a good idea to do so, especially in Red Dead Online. I mean, maybe in GTA
there,
Online there are more of such people who just want to troll, I don't know, but in Red Dead Online most players are peaceful and they just want to do their own stuff.
Yeah, I agree. There's also that one free mode activity. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but the archery one. I haven't done it in some time. Where just run around and shoot archery targets. That one you can kill people in that one. You can actually pull out your pistol or your rifle and you actually shoot them. And that mode, all you're basically supposed. The only way to score points is to actually fire arrows at the archery targets. That's the only way. So my question is, why are you able to kill people in that mode
Yeah.
if it's just an archery one?
And it is actually in many modes, and I have this question: why there are weapons? And you know what? According to my I've made a vote on a channel like whether people take part in races, not even like races, but take part in. You know what? Like often people, 1% out of 35,000 says that they are often playing races, and around like 8% said that they played sometimes. So it's definitely not the mode that people want to play. And the most reason why, according to the comments, was because of weapons. They are annoying. We don't want to have this stupid shooting in the races. We just want, to ride a horse and who's the fastest wins. But for some reason, Rockstar is not doing anything about it. And even more, they are adding 8 new race maps and, talking about this in the newswire. For me, this is the most pathetic in this situation. Because, I mean, if you want to add new races, like whatever, it's up to you. But why would you even talk about this in the newswire, in the same newswire where you promise to players some highly expected content? That was kind of it. So we started this conversation from the phrase that Rockstar often do super weird thing, and yeah, I'm agree with you. So, but overall, since the January, so have you become more optimistic or not, or even situation is even worse now about the future
No,
of Red Dead Online?
it's even worse. I'm getting to the point where I've been slowly losing hope for Red Dead Online, and I don't, I really don't like saying that too, because a lot of people that watch my channel, they know that I'm usually pretty optimistic about Red Dead Online. I'm trying to enjoy the game because I like the time period, how I have a lot of fun with it, and I try to encourage people to play the game, but I can only do so much as a content creator trying to encourage people to play a game that is, barely updated and just neglected
Yeah.
so badly.
Yeah, it's actually a big problem because I mean, people often say like, "Why are you so toxic? You probably hate the game about the game." Each time when I do it, any sort of critique, but I mean, I don't hate the game. I just don't see what Rockstar is doing, what good Rockstar is doing for the game. So yeah, unfortunately,
I
I understand this what's happening with you. Okay, but what do you reply to?
I mean, I
What?
usually get two types of negative responses. I usually have people that say, "Oh, you don't go hard enough on this game. You just defend this game and you suck up to Rockstar." Or I'll have people that'll post like comments saying like, "Oh, you're too negative. You're always criticizing Rockstar." So it's like I'm either
Yeah.
too negative or I'm too positive. Like it's I see comments like that all the time, but. And criticizing a game doesn't mean that you hate it. Like I never understood this logic. I've seen people like just make really dumb comments about this. And I remember like not to compare this to Modern Warfare, but like when Modern Warfare was coming out in 2019, like I saw people that there was people that were complaining that the game was that it was modern day and it wasn't futuristic again. And I was calling those people stupid because I thought that was like I thought that wasn't a legitimate criticism of the game. Because if it's a legitimate criticism, you're criticizing gameplay elements or you're criticizing some
Yeah.
other issue in the game, but to simply say, oh, it's not futuristic, this game sucks, that is kind of a stupid criticism. And I'm sure you see the same thing when it comes to Red Dead Online, where
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, this game's boring. All you do is ride around on horses." I've seen comments like that. It's just it's just ignorant and it's just stupid. And most of the time, the people that post these comments, they don't play Red Dead Online, or maybe they played it for a few days and they gave up. It might be something like that.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. But this coin has two sides. For example, I see Austin BMX in chat, and he's often criticized for being too optimistic, and people say that he works for a Rockstar, which is
That's stupid. No, nobody works for Rockstar.
yeah, no, no, nobody works for Rockstar. Yeah, that's actually a good. That's actually a good statement. Yeah, at least these people who work for Rockstar, they don't watch our streams and videos. But wait, do you? Okay, so there's interesting question with Dutch. What do you think? Are people who work about Red Dead Online aware of the community opinion around the game, or they just ignore it completely, or they know like, well, people like kinda don't like what we're doing, but whatever? Because for me it's a big question.
I would say that the developers at Rockstar have to be aware of what people want, or they're either really stupid. Because I know people that barely play Red Dead Online, and yet they still know exactly what the community wants. And if there's a player that barely plays the game and knows exactly what people want, but yet the developer of the game does not know what people want, then the developer at that point, I would say, is just stupid.
Yeah, it's like not being aware of. So I mean, I read comments, you read comments. We're aware at this point. We are aware of people are thinking about our channels, and our channels is definitely not the business of the side of the comparable size of Red Dead Online, even not even GTA. So I'm pretty sure they have to monitor opinions somehow on Reddit, on Twitter, or elsewhere, maybe on YouTube even, but it seems like they're ignoring it completely. We will see actually this in the summer update, because I still have my hopes. I'm still optimistic. I hope that I actually ask this because, my theory is they've learned what people want, despite the fact that it was obvious, and maybe they've made some steps in this direction. I really hope for this.
But how would you react personally? Because you're optimistic, but how would you react if it's like, if the update is something like, something like a story mission where you just invite somebody, you do it like once or twice, and then you don't do it anymore? Like, what would you think if they did
I will
that?
tell you my personal opinion. Actually, I've told this comparison in one of my videos. It's like a situation, I bet, like pretty many people have such friends, when your friend is like somehow some sort of addicted, and he's alcoholic, or I don't know, ludoman, something like this, and he always asks you for money, you give him, and then he drinks vodka for all this money and never gives you back. But at one day he comes to you and says, okay, I realized I was doing wrong, I stopped doing what I'm doing, like give me the money just to set the things up. And you believe him because you just want to believe him, and that's exactly my situation. I want to believe Rockstar here that we will receive robberies and crime activities. Anyway, you give him money, and next day you see him drunk again. I will personally be just sad about it, not angry, not really disappointed, because deep down inside of my mind and soul, I kinda knew that it's gonna happen, because if you behave this way all your life, there are little chances that you will improve, right? But I still will be sad, because that was the last chance for this person to recuperate. And in my opinion, this summer update is kinda the last chance for Rockstar to recuperate, at least in the face, at least to Red Dead Online community. That's my opinion. If they were, because it's like a slap in your face, announcing robberies and making them stranger missions or telegram missions or some other shit that like no one is asking for and no one is really playing. It's laughable. You would rather not do anything at all at this point than something like this. It looks like trolling. So I just hope it's not gonna happen. Well, okay, what's your reaction will be if yeah, let's say it's gonna be a stranger mission, like 2 stranger missions.
I think that if it's like a stranger mission or something like that, if it's like a small update, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record like a video, which is like one of my biggest rants ever on the game, just completely going off on Rockstar, and I might just take a break from it, like the same thing that I've done with GT Online, where I don't play it for like many months. I'd hope it doesn't come to that point, but it might happen if they don't actually deliver, because this is really the last chance. We've had 3 crappy updates in a row. Naturalist, which was arguably our biggest update, it was a weird update and a boring update. I didn't think it was terrible, but I did think it was weird and boring. And then we had the December update, Bounty Hunter expansion, which that in my opinion was just terrible. Didn't add really that much. And then now March we had Outlaw Pass 5, which was like I said, the nothing update, barely anything, just between the line between nothing and an actual update. And if they do something where it's barely anything now, people are going to be furious, people are going to be really angry, and there might be longtime players that completely give up on the game at this point now.
Yeah, I mean, many people already gave up. I mean, have you seen some sort of statistics, for example, from SteamDB? It's just terrible. It looks terrible for Red Dead Online. Like, numbers dropped off since December, like extremely, to extreme point. And they should do something, because, I mean, even people who still play, they are on the line. people just don't trust Rockstar. You know what? Actually, that was something the biggest surprise for me. Like how people reacted to Rockstar when Rockstar literally announced robberies and criminal activities, and made this post with a picture of someone robbing a train. No one believed it. People are super skeptical about Rockstar, and it's super weird because it's not the things how that's not how the things should be. When we're talking about such a company like Rockstar, it's not EA or something. People should trust and should not have low expectation when they are now literally announcing robberies, but still no one believes. And unfortunately, we know why it happened, because constant neglecting, ignoring community and stuff like this. That's the result.
I think that what we've seen, the track record that we've seen from Rockstar and Red Dead Online. No, I think they had a good track record up until like December 2019 with Moonshiners. I think Moonshiners the last time they had a good track record. I think after that, at that point, everything was just pretty much lost cause. I hope it recovers, but I just think it's personally really suspicious because all we really had was just that one screenshot with see the robbers on top of the train, but like I said, it could just be a stranger mission or something like that. I'm not expecting so much from it. But did you ever see that video that I uploaded over a month ago where I said how Red Dead Online's intro misleads you? Ever get the chance to see that one?
No, I haven't seen it. For some reason, not recommending me your videos except like streams. I don't know why. Despite the fact that I watch your videos about Red Dead Online, but not streams. YouTube is weird.
I wonder how much that video the views are at. But anyways, I uploaded a video like over a month ago. This is, I know, like I think it was April time, where it's titled "How Red Dead Online's intro misleads you." And
this one I saw. I'm sorry, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah, you remember how they had those two brothers that were in the the story, and they had them online.
Horse stealers.
Yeah.
Thefts.
So you bring them like the horses. You bring them the horses, and then they say to you, like, once we get our business set up or whatever, we'll contact you, and then you're gonna start bringing us horses. That never happens. Then the Jessica Leclerc missions, which were never finished. But there was that one scene in the intro where you see the outlaws on a cliff. So like they're on a cliff. It looks like they're observing a train getting ready to rob it, and you see the train coming towards them, and it's a passenger train. It's one of those trains from single player, the ones that have passengers on it. We never see that train in online. That train does not make any kind of appearance in online. So that right there, in a way, you could argue from playing that intro and watching that intro, you could argue that that's false advertising, basically what they did with that, because they're implying things in the game that aren't actually there.
Well, yeah, but they have not said that we will receive all that stuff, so it's still not false advertising. But I agree with you that it's not cool to, I don't know how to say, but they are showing. In my personal opinion, what they showed in this trailer is basically like, expect this in the future. And it's been 2.5 years since that moment, and nothing. We got nothing. No horse stealing, no the story mission ending, no train robberies, no passenger trains, like nothing. And yeah, it might be. That's why I'm saying that this summer update is the last chance for them, because obviously December update will be smaller one, and it's just gonna be pretty much over for Red Dead Online. I'm afraid if summer update will not deliver. So yeah, I agree with you. But so I mean, what do you think will happen if that's really something like small update we will receive, like you said, in June, with a small Outlaw Pass, with some role extension, and maybe some small like stranger missions, let's say. Will they stop supporting Red Dead Online in some time? Because it will be a fail, and many players will stop playing. And how Rockstar will react? Will just stop supporting?
I don't think that Rockstar is gonna stop, updating Red Dead Online, but I think that the updates are probably gonna be really small, because if Rockstar was to discontinue like updates for that online, I'm not talking about the servers. I'm just talking about updating.
Updating, yeah.
If they were to if they were to do that, if they were to discontinue, that would be 2.5 years into the game, barely any content. They would basically be admitting to their community and admitting to everyone, including gaming media and all the other stuff, that Reddit Online was a total failure if they just disconnect it without any updates. So what I think they're gonna do is I think they're gonna make updates, small updates over the next few years, and then eventually possibly get to a point where they don't make updates for it anymore. Because like I said, they would have to admit basically that it's a failure if they don't release anything for it. And I don't think that Rockstar is gonna do that.
Yeah, actually, that sounds logical because it's not only about the newswire and the communities they care, but about investors. And investors actually are asking them about Red Dead Online on not them, but on Take-Two press conferences quite a lot, because I think they still expect Red Dead Online to be not as profitable as GTA Online, but at least close, not even close, but at least somehow profitable. But they don't. I bet they don't see any results.
You know what I think? I think that the same thing happened to Red Dead Online, but opposite with GTA Online and GTA 5 in terms of story expansion. Because I don't know if you know this, but GTA 5 was originally going to have actually a story expansion, which was supposed to come out. I'm assuming within the first year of the game coming out in 2013. Probably would have come out with PS4 and Xbox One. That probably would have been the best time to launch it back in 2014. But they were going to do a story expansion for GTA 5, and they talked about it in the newswire. Further adventures, Michael, Trevor, and Franklin. And I think that part of it was they were actually going to be robbing the casino. So the three characters were going to be robbing the actual casino in the story. And they never released a story mode expansion. Instead, they saw how profitable GTA Online was with the shark cards and microtransactions, and they just said, "Oh, screw single player DLC. We're just going to milk GTA Online." And I think what happened with Red Dead Online is they were hoping to launch Red Dead Online, and they were probably hoping to make a ton of money. I don't think they were expecting nearly as much as GTA Online, but they were still probably expecting a ton. And what happened was when they didn't get the numbers that they were expecting, they saw the amount of money that GTA Online was still making. They were saying, "Oh, screw it. Let's just keep doing major updates on GTA Online and barely update Red Dead Online to show that we care." I think that's what probably happened.
But I mean, with this logic, they should make some DLC for Red Dead Redemption to make some money out of this franchise, because if they are not really making money from Red Dead Online, despite the fact that I still think they are making some money and pretty decent if we compare it to the amount of effort that they are putting in. But anyway, according to this logic, maybe we will receive DLC for Red Dead Online, or it's not gonna Red Dead Redemption 2. Sorry, or it's not gonna happen anyway.
I don't think so. I would like to see a Red Dead Redemption 2 story expansion. A lot of people were thinking that a lot of people were thinking that it was possibly going to be an Undead Nightmare Part 2, but we got our hopes up when those zombie things got leaked around Halloween time, but we found out that it wasn't really wasn't really anything zombie related. It was just an adversary mode. And I think Rockstar they've said in interviews before that they're not going to do any single player X stuff. They just said they're going to do just online. And the thing about that is I'm disappointed that they're not going to do any kind of single player DLC, but I'm happy at the same time that at least they admitted to it, that they're not going to do any kind of single player DLC, because I remember when the stupid clickbait channels were just making like tons of videos, like you remember that, right? The Red Dead Redemption 2 story clickbait spam. Like I had so many clickbait Red Dead videos coming up in my feed on YouTube, and I wasn't even subscribed to these channels. Like I saw like ridiculous thumbnails saying like, "Oh, Sadie Adler story expansion confirmed," or play as Javier Escuela, or blah 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 this, or Dutch prequel. Like all these random like just these claims that had no evidence whatsoever. People claiming this. Would I like an expansion where you play as Sadie Adler, or even play as Javier Escuela, or even play as a young Dutch? Sure, I'd even pay for it. But the fact is, there's no evidence for any of these expansion packs, yet people were making tons of videos, like uploading like tons of videos, 3-4 videos in a week on the same exact topic, just saying, "Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 story DLC confirmed," blah blah blah. And then, eventually, Roger Clark, the guy who plays as Arthur Morgan, actually responded to one of the clickbaiters and said, no, there's not going to be any kind of story expansion, because he was recording some kind of album or something like that. And the stupid clickbaiters took that post that he made on Instagram and started basically saying like, oh, look, our Arthur Morgan actor is confirming Red Dead Redemption 2 story DLC. And that's not what happened.
And I just have to mention, it's definitely not related to what The Professional just said, but I'm just saying that FTW in the title of the stream means for the win. Summer update for the win. It doesn't mean that we're talking with Mr. Boss for the win or he's not in the chat. Just saying, not related to anything. Just decided to say about this because many people are asking. It's a coincidence that I decided to talk about him. Anyway, actually we have 882 concurrent viewers.
Now.
Yeah, almost 900, and it's
this is one of your most popular streams.
In English, yes, because in Russian I had like 5,000 at some point when Nationalist was released. I was super surprised, actually. It was like unexpected for me, because usually I have like 500-600 there, but that day I had 5,000. It was kind of weird. But anyway, I just wanted to say hello to anyone, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. I see a lot of conversation in the chat. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, and by the way, one like, one pour. But it does not mean that I'm gonna be actually pouring. My cat is pouring, but you cannot hear that. So yeah, we were talking about these plans of not obviously plans, but what do we think about our plans that Rockstar has on Red Dead Redemption and GTA as well? So it leads me to the next question. We all know that expanded and an enhanced edition of GTA 5 was announced, and I want to ask you a question. What's with Red Dead Redemption's expanded or next gen version? What do you think? Why there is nothing? They're saying nothing. We're not gonna receive next gen version of Red Dead Redemption with 60 FPS or something?
Maybe in maybe a year from now even, but I even longer than that. But basically, I think it's because they know that they can keep releasing GTA 5 over and over again, and that tons of people are going to buy it. At least that's the way Rockstar sees it, that they can just keep re-releasing the game over and over again. A lot of people are going to buy it. And the thing is, expanded and enhanced, I'm curious whether it's going to be like a new engine, because if it's a new video game engine, like it's, new graphics and everything, but it's, the same game, I think, reception is going to be more positive. But if it's the exact same engine, like it's like, the exact same graphics, maybe just HD updated and 60 FPS and all this other stuff, people are going to be pissed off. People are going to be furious. And I think PlayStation players, they get it for free, like the first 4 months or something like that. And Xbox players, I don't know if they get it for free, or even PC.
No, we don't. We don't. Only PS.
So it's just, it's so like right there, it's they're giving it for free to PlayStation players, but they're not giving it for free to Xbox players that own the game. That's not fair to them.
Definitely.
And a lot of people are getting pissed off over this. And I don't understand, how, one thing that kind of really pisses me off about this is how people don't give Rockstar as much crap over this as other companies, because other companies, like EA, you're probably very well aware of this. EA does some really crappy things, but when EA does something bad, people get on their case about it. But when Rockstar does something bad, yeah, people get pissed off, but the response is nowhere near the same response that EA gets. And I think people should go as hard on Rockstar as they do on EA, because I don't think that's okay that they almost get away with some of these stuff.
Yeah, actually, I've mentioned this, but in my opinion, this situation is changing, like last years, dramatically, and more people are not, blindly praising anything that Rockstar do, and not there are less of like these fanboys for Rockstar. It's just my opinion. Maybe it's bubble. How you call it? When you see only opinions that are close to yours, but it's my observation that they are losing this credit, and what happened with this announcement only shows that Rockstar is losing it in many ways, and it's a dangerous situation for this company, actually, because if you think this credit and the how people trust in your company is extremely important nowadays, and they're kind of losing it, unfortunately, because of their actions. So I think they are getting closer to EA right now, but we will see, obviously. And since we started about next gen versions for GTA Online and Red Dead Online, what's your opinion? Whether GTA really gonna receive this rage? It's a Rockstar engine that they used in Red Dead Redemption 2. Whether it's gonna happen?
I don't know. I don't think so, because for them to do something like that, they would have to put massive amounts of work into the game, and I think that they just want to re-release the game and just try to make as much money from it as possible. I think that's what they're trying to do: release it, make as much money as possible, minimal effort. And that's I can't see them using like Red Dead's engine in like GT. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, and the remaster or the expand and enhance is actually good. But basically what this is this is a remaster of a remaster, because PS4 and Xbox One, those were pretty much remasters of the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions.
But I mean, they've spent a lot of time actually into developing something, so it can be it possibly can be, this GTA new gen console version. So I still think that it might happen. But anyway, what you gonna do? Are you gonna buy this? I mean, you're probably gonna buy this to make a review. But if you were just a regular player, not a content creator, would you bought this next gen version for GTA?
Probably not. If it's like if it's like I said, if it's just an HD re-release, then probably no. Like I'm a PlayStation player, so I'd get it for free regardless. But because of that stupid exclusive crap that they have, but no, I probably wouldn't get it. I'm, as a YouTuber, I'm gonna get it and play it regardless, just so I can do a review on it and talk about it. But I normally no. I probably wouldn't get it now.
So actually, are you quite sure that PlayStation players are receiving GTA 5 for free? Because as far as I remember, they are receiving only GTA Online for free. Not like
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that GTA 5 players on PS4, I think that they get the game for free within the first 3 months. Somebody in chat probably knows, but it's I think it's like first 3 months or something like that you download it, you get it for free, something along those lines.
Because I mean, it sounds like too generous from Rockstar to give something for free. So it might be only online, because obviously
They
online.
probably
Yeah.
they probably see it as an investment. The way they see it is they give it to PlayStation players for free. It makes it seem like they're doing something out of the goodness of their hearts, and players are going to play over the next few years, and they're going to buy shark cards. So they expect probably to make their money back with shark cards, which is the downloads that they give away for free.
Okay, I just opened the newswire and they're saying standalone version of GTA Online will be free.
Oh, it's standalone version.
Yep, they will release standalone. Yeah, so
Well,
I
I
mean,
guess I'm gonna have to buy the
Yeah.
single player thing, because I did promise people that I would do a single player playthrough. People asked me we're gonna do a GTA 5 single player playthrough, but I said I'll do it, but when Expanded and Enhanced comes out, that way we'll be able to play through Expanded and Enhanced. People will be looking for like that, and we'll be able to compare it right away to the previous versions of the game too.
yeah, but I mean, you kind of have to, as a content creator, just to tell your opinion to people who are looking for it and deciding whether they should buy it or not. So it's kind of different situation. But another question is price, because this Take-Two CEO was talking over and over again about that how games are super expensive and to develop. It's super hard for them to develop. Probably adding like Naturalist update costs them 10,000 millions. But the price for GTA Online is new. What do you think is gonna be? It's gonna be a full price game, as is.
I think it's probably gonna be $14.99, like Red Dead Online now is.
No, not online, but GTA 5 enhanced and expanded.
Oh, Enhanced, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna be $40. Usually when they do usually when companies do remasters or remakes, even it's right around the $40-$50 range. So that's probably what they're gonna that's probably the price that they're gonna have on that. I don't think the $40-$50 price is justified unless it's like even a new engine, and even if it's a new engine, that's still questionable because it's still technically the same game.
Yeah, I mean, usually remasters are selling even remakes cheaper, but I'm just asking because I saw in a Twitter today or yesterday this rumor that it's gonna cost $70, like they've promised.
Oh, if they do that, then I'm gonna be making a big rant if they do $70 on that.
I sure you will, because I mean, I actually think it's gonna be extremely questionable move for Rockstar. Of course, that's a rumor. It's not official yet, but if it's gonna happen, well, it's gonna be terrible if that's gonna be price for.
You know, the thing about the $70 is I actually did a video on Take-Two. This is actually oh yeah, like 2 months ago. So the Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, he was actually talking about NBA, which that's another game that Take-Two Interactive publishes, and he was basically saying that that gamers are ready to pay $70 for games. And he was
Yeah.
basically justifying it, saying that it takes all this effort and all this stuff. And look, $70 for an NBA game. I don't even play these sport games, but I'll tell you right now, that's the same thing every single time, over and over again. These sport games, soccer, the basketball ones, people call the sport games the biggest scams ever because it's very similar to the last game. The next game is the next year, and it's really easy for them to make. So they just keep making the same game over and over again, release it for full price, and it makes these studios billions of dollars from just the sport games alone.
Yeah, but dude, it's even worse because these games are just cash grabs. They are full of microtransactions, especially NBA 2K. They are making insane money from this in microtransactions. I mean, they should give it for free, in my opinion, not sell it for $70. It's like a scam. I agree with you. So it's super weird to try to justify your greed. Oh, we've spent so much time, so just pay us more. But unfortunately, that's something that might happen. I hope not. But turning back to Red Dead Online, what do you think? Whether standalone was a success, or it was just made to test how it works, to make better decisions for GTA Online standalone?
I think that standalone is halfway a success. I think it's halfway a success for when they made it $4.99. I think that was probably a good idea for people that don't really care about single player but just want to play online. That's a way for them to experience the online, give it a try. $4.99. It's a more reasonable price. At the same time, I still think it's stupid to just buy Red Dead Online because single player just has so much content to offer. So if you're missing out on single player, that's missing out 70% of the game. I consider online maybe only a third of the game. So the majority of the content is really in the single player. But if somebody just wants to go for the online, then I guess go ahead and just buy the Red Dead Online expansion. But at the same time is when they made it $4.99 just for a few months, and then they made it afterwards $14.99. I don't think $14.99 is worth it. No, if at that price, you're better just buying the full game with the single player in it. $4.99, I think it's more worth it for the online, but just $14.99, I don't think that's worth it for just online.
I mean, it's even $20, but maybe you're talking about.
I thought it was $14.99.
No, it's with discounts $14.99, and it's usually $20.
Oh, $20? Hell no! Then that's not worth it.
Because you know what? I've made a video talking about this, and I was pretty a lot. I've got a lot of hate, comparing to the usual amount of negative comments on this one. Because I've made a video. I was saying that I think that it should not definitely cost $20 because it's just a bad idea to buy Red Dead Online for $20 if you can wait for a sale that are constantly going and buy Red Dead Redemption 2, which includes Red Dead Online in $24. So in my opinion, they're even not trying to sell any copies of Red Dead Online standalone with this decision. I see no reason why they decided to sell it for $20. Like, not a single one. Like, no one will buy it, or almost no one. It's just a bad investment of the money, because you can buy
Yeah, I mean,
the
you
same.
could try to
Yeah.
you could try to find the game on Amazon or even on eBay and try to win an auction for it, and you could pay like around that price if you really find a good deal just for the game itself. I mean, eventually the game's going to be dropping in price. So it's I
Sure.
think it's just stupid to pay online for just uh $20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
look, I just typed in Red Dead Redemption 2 on eBay, right here, and on eBay, what is it here? Is this even? So look, I'm looking at this. I see one here, used game, Red Dead Redemption 2, $17.01 free shipping used on
Exactly.
eBay.
Yeah.
And that like so you're telling me Rockstar that like somebody you're charging $20 for the online, and yet you can buy here the full game with just the whole single player experience for $17. Yes, I understand it's new, sure, I used, but it's $17. That's a really good deal buying the game used and the whole thing here. And I see another one $35 here. Is this one even new? I think this one is new. So it looks like $35 new copy too. And yeah, I know prices fluctuate on eBay. I get that and all, but like if you really search around, you can find a good deal here. So like $20 for online when you could buy the full game for used for $17 or even new for $35. That just shows how much Rockstar is trying to scam people at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, they will not even scam pretty much anyone, because in my opinion, like, not many people will buy Red Dead Online with all this bad press around the games that they currently have. Because I saw some articles in a big gaming websites that were talking about how people are disappointed with Outlaw Pass 5, how people are disappointed with December update, because you probably know that all these videos from Rockstar about December update, about Outlaw Pass 5 were heavily disliked, like extremely.
Oh yeah, the dislikes, the dislike bar and like the comments on that was great. I'm surprised I didn't disable comments, but like
Yeah.
yeah, some of the comments, the comments on there, you saw the top ones, they were hilarious on like the Outlaw Pass 5.
Yeah, and luckily for them, now YouTube is thinking about disabling dislikes. Have you heard about
Oh
this, by
no.
the way?
Oh, I heard something about that, but they better not disable dislikes
Not
because
even disabling,
dislikes.
not showing. Sorry, so you can dislike, but no one will see how many dislikes there are. Only
No, that
creator.
is.
It's the stupidest idea in my opinion, like ever. I just don't like it so much. I mean, because it will benefit clickbaiters heavily, and not only clickbaiters, but all these people who kind of scam audience, because many people will not see how the audience like reacts, and they will not understand that something is wrong. Not many people, but some people, some viewers, definitely. And in my opinion, it's just a terrible idea. I hope that it's not gonna happen, but who knows? Plus, we will
You know,
not.
I.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, you finish. You go
I mean,
first.
we will not see these cases when, like, for example, Rockstar release something and people are heavily like mad at them, and people dislike trailers. It's also something that I want to see. I want to see. That's the only way for us as a community. Pretty much the only way to show how we, treat these updates. For example, updates from Rockstar, and they will remove it from us, and it's not cool in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's. I guess we'll have to see what they do with Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm excited, but I'm at the same time I'm concerned that this game could really be screwed over the next update.
Yeah, it can. It's now on the thinnest of ice in my opinion. Red Dead Online in general, and all my hopes are connected with the fact that I think that Rockstar understands this, and they don't want to lose this project forever. But I'm not sure anymore whether they care. That's a problem, because if they don't care, it's over. They will release something crappy, and yeah, Red Dead Online
You,
will be over.
You know, there was two developers that did open world games online, and those two developers have actually run things better than Rockstar has. The first one, Bethesda, well, Fallout 76. I know that's a little weird to say that, but Fallout 76 when that game came out was a disaster. It was horrible, and they had so many, disasters with it. But over time, they put in a roadmap into the game. They specifically outlined what was to come in the game. They put in NPCs, which people wanted. They even added some dialogue in the game. They added the Raiders, the Brotherhood of Steel. I haven't played the game in some time, but I know the game has gotten some massive updates. And then Watch Dogs Legion Online, which that just came out, and I had like people hating on like some of my Watch Dogs videos when I was like saying like Ubisoft does things better than like Rockstar, but what I was saying was pretty much true right there, because Watch Dogs Legion just came out. I understand that you can't compare it to Red Dead Online because, it's modern day, 10 years in the future versus Red Dead Online, which is, in the past. But both of them, are open world crime games in a way. More you can compare it to GT Online, but at the same time is they did an actual roadmap on what was to come out in the game. They outlined it. Here's what's to come, and some of their content got delayed, so they updated a new roadmap and released it the other day and said, this is what's to come out in June, this is what's to come out in July and August, and at least people have an understanding and are excited for what's to come out. But with Reddit Online, we get absolutely nothing. We get half a year of silence, nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, pisses people off the most. I get pissed off about the lack of updates too, don't get me wrong, but the thing that pisses me off about Rockstar the most is that it's complete silence. It's like this, after they release an update, it's like another half a year with no response until the next update. That's basically what it is.
And actually, the situation was exactly the same last July when, this clown movement happened. And for me personally, clown movement was all about this. It's not even like release the update right now because it's not gonna happen. They cannot make an update in one day or release it. It was more about start communicating with us and at least tell us something. And they kind of made a little step towards, say, like mentioning community a few times, made these community-based events about photography in Red Dead Online, but then they just gave up again. Like, we don't care about you, community. Like, you do not exist for us, unfortunately. So, but by the way, why do you think this is happening? I mean, it's not that hard to communicate, at least on some point, at least something. Say something to community. Why don't they do it? What's the reason?
It's because I think it's laziness, and I think it's also that they don't have any kind of plan. So they don't have a plan on what their next update could possibly be, and then therefore they don't see a purpose in posting a roadmap. And it's also because Rockstar is known to be a very secretive developer, and sometimes this can be a good thing because you can get people excited for projects that are to come out, but at the same time it can also be a really negative thing, especially when they go silent for just so long. Like Rockstar doesn't even appear at E3 ever. And the thing is though, when Rockstar does get interviewed about like GTA Online, or they get interviewed on Reddit Online, they very rarely give interviews, but sometimes they give interviews. And whenever they give an interview, it's almost always like, I know it's an interview that's not recorded. It's an interview that you just read the article, and
Exactly.
just read the questions that they were asked. It's not something that was actually videotaped. And like when I read those like interviews, I'm asking myself like where did they find these gaming reporters at? Because like these gaming reporters that are interviewing Rockstar are like sucking up to them so badly. Like the report. None of these reporters that are like, you're supposed to be reporting on games and like the state of these games. None of these journalists have any kind of integrity where they will actually like ask them tough questions. Like, an actual journalist, interviewing them about Reddit Online, saying like, tons of players are pissed off that you haven't updated in some time. You don't even put out a roadmap. Like, what is your reasoning for like the lack of communication? Like, why don't I ever see a journalist actually ask like a tough question like that?
Because they're not a journalist. I'm pretty sure that people who they're talking to, make quote marks now, they are just like the lowest unpaid interns in this magazines that they are giving interviews, because I would imagine how they will talk to someone from Bloomberg, who I'm talking about. I would love to see that, because with some real journalists, because I have the same feeling as you. When I see this interviews, I'm pretty sure that both answers and questions were just written by some PR person from Rockstar or Take-Two even. and no one even like met. This developer has not ever met and talked to the journalist. Like nothing this happened. They just wrote the questions and answers and sent them to like some person who will be willing to sign up for this, to say that he was actually making an interview. It looks so cheap and unprofessional in my opinion. I don't know whether there is a single person who buys this, and so what's the reason to do this? I just don't get it.
Imagine if Angry Joe interviewed Rockstar.
Yeah, Angry Joe
That would be
interviewed.
about. But I know he doesn't really play Reddit Online. He did a video like 2 years ago talking about how Reddit Online was disappointing. It was like I think top 10 most disappointing games of 2018. I think he had it on that list. But after that he never really talked about Reddit Online anymore. But I would still like to see Angry Joe actually interview Rockstar. If Angry Joe interviewed them, then I'd feel more confident in that interview.
I actually would love to see Schreier from Bloomberg to interview.
Oh, I don't know that guy. Who's that?
Oh, he's famous. Maybe I'm just messing it up. You know, the dude who covers all the scandals with Crunch.
Oh wait, Jason Schreier, was that the guy?
Yeah, him.
Oh yeah, then yeah, I did a video on him. I did a video on him a few months ago. Well, maybe like a month ago, not a few months ago, but a month ago, where he was talking about how Days Gone 2 had gotten canceled,
Yeah.
and how Sony instead is doing the Last of Us remake. So they're choosing to do a Last of Us remake, and they canceled Days Gone 2, which I thought that Days Gone was a much better game than the Last of Us. I not to hate on the Last of Us, but I didn't get into it. I didn't personally like it, and I thought that Days Gone was just a much better game. I liked the first Last of Us, but I didn't buy the second one, and I thought Days Gone 2 was just Days Gone was a better game in general.
Yeah, in this article he covered that Sony bosses are only interested in Metacritic scores. They don't care pretty much about anything. So, I mean, some kind of person like that should, interview Rockstar employees, but it's never happened, unfortunately. We will receive this super clean and sterilized, or whatever they call it, with sanitizer interviews. They're not even interviews, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the way it is. And I just don't get why Rockstar is so outdated. Because you're saying lazy, but I mean, it's not like they are lazy, I don't think so. I mean, look at the amazing pictures they're making for the crappy Newswire. Because Newswire is just terrible. They always say the wrong thing in the wrong way. But pictures for this Newswire, so like awesome.
Do you remember a few years ago when, even before Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, I remember when the Newswire used to have comments. Do you remember that?
No, I was not playing GTA Online, so that's why I only started with Red Dead.
There's probably people in chat though that know about what I'm talking about. There was the Newswires, the Rockstar Newswires for GTA Online. They used to have comments enabled. Like I don't think the comments are enabled anymore. I think they've been disabled for like a few years now. But like whenever I looked at the Newswire in the past and like the GTA Online Newswire, the comments were just so hostile towards Rockstar because of just what they were doing with GTA Online. People were pissed. People were not happy with what they were doing with GTA Online, and they're like the comments pretty much spoke it. And then afterwards, I never saw comments. I think they completely got rid of them on the Newswire.
Yeah, there's always no comments on the news. I don't remember comments on the Newswire, and I've been reading it since the first days of beta. So I'm pretty sure there was no comments back then. Maybe there were for some time, but I just don't remember. And there definitely were not comments when beta was over. They just removed it completely. So yeah, they decided not to communicate with community in any form or in any way. Why, we don't know, but result is pretty sad. And there is since we're talking about sad results, I mean, have you mentioned that many content creators for Red Dead Online are just giving up on this game, like recently, like a lot of people.
Yeah, I hope that they don't. What I hope that they don't give up on their channels though, because there's a lot of fans that like them, and there's a lot of fans that like you too. But like I just hope that they don't I hope that they don't give up YouTube entirely. If anything, if Reddit Online, does something stupid, I hope that eventually, they can move on to other games and expand. Because I personally don't think that it's a good idea to just play the same one game constantly. Like I get, people build up a channel on a game, but what you can only do so much content on one game, and eventually that game's content is either gonna get stale or just gonna they're gonna stop updating content. But at the same time is, I understand that like, people getting burnt out of it and getting bored. And that's what happened with me with GT Online is like, I kind of gave up on the game because like I got so bored of it. I did everything that I could on the game and I didn't feel like playing it anymore. And that's, why I don't really do GT Online, that much anymore, because there's nothing for me to do, and if I did it, I wouldn't be having fun.
Yeah, but now unfortunately you are close to the same point in Red Dead Online.
Yeah, Red Dead Online, and like I see comments like this, on my channel all the time. People are saying like, why did you stop GT Online, but you still keep doing Red Dead Online? The reason I like I said I stopped Red Dead GT Online is because there's nothing to do. When a new update comes out, I'll do it. But like Red Dead Online, I made Red Dead Online videos on my channel, and I grew a lot in Red Dead Online. A lot of people, they usually say to me, I see comments on my channel where they'll say like, oh, the bulk of your subscribers are from GT Online, might be true. Sure, it is. It is kind of true that the bulk of my subscribers are from GT Online, but I had a lot of people that are also from Red Dead Online. I'd say at least 100,000 people that are subscribed to me are just from Red Dead Online content, because I've looked at the analytics. I've gotten thousands of subs from my Red Dead content over the years, but Red Dead content I didn't do nowhere near as much as like as GT Online content, and that's why I do Red Dead content more, because I want to expand into a game that I didn't do as much as GT Online. But it's getting to a point where I'm about to stop doing Red Dead content like kind of did with GT Online. If they mess this update up, that might be the end of it for me.
I mean, you said you're trying to expand the Red Dead Online audience, but I mean, Rockstar are playing against you and against me and against all other content creators. So Austin BMX and Chat and Redbird the Gamer and like all other creators actually. There is not much we can do if they just refuse to release new content, right? Or they will
100%.
release like Outlaw Pass 5. What can we do? Just hate? It's not cool. So it's.
I mean, I grew so much on Red Dead content when Frontiers Pursuits came out. Like when Frontiers Pursuits came out in like September of 2019, like my Red Dead videos just took off. They blew up. Like I have like one Red Dead video that's like, I think it's nearing like 1 million views, which is like, my ultimate beginner's guide. And I made that like right when the PC version was coming out. And I did that, for like, so for PC players and like new people that are getting on the game, like, explaining the basics, like what to do, what not to do. And then I did it like, videos on the roles, like, collector, trader. And like, when I broke the roles down, people really liked that. And like, a lot of people, subbed to me from that content. And it made me really happy too. Like when I saw that content growing, because 2019, I was in a pretty bad state in 2019. Like my channel was growing and it was doing really well, but mentally I wasn't doing well. I was I wouldn't say that I was depressed, but I was like, in a down mood. Like I was sad a lot of times because I felt like I was trapped in this box, and I felt like I could only do GTA Online content, and I felt like if I tried to do any other content that it wouldn't get as nearly as much views and that people would hate on me and stuff like that. And when I started doing like Red Dead Online content, it didn't get that many views, but I still kept doing it, and because I enjoyed the game. And then Frontiers Pursuits, posted a bunch of videos on that. I blew up, got a lot of views from that, and I was just really happy that people were finding my new content, and I was just attracting a wider audience, and it definitely boosted my morale. And it, it put me in a better state, and it encouraged me to expand my channel and my content.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, we had only one update comparable to.
Well, we had
this.
yeah, we had the Moonshiner. That was also a good one too.
But it was a
Moonshiner
small,
was not-
obviously, just a small update, not a Frontier Pursuit size. I mean, but I mean.
True, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think I think we can both agree that Moonshiners though is much better than Naturalist.
Well, yes. I mean, pretty much anything is better than Naturalist, in my opinion. No, of course, except December update. But so they are like, there is a clear regress in what Rockstar is doing, because unfortunately, and I hope that this summer they will switch the direction. By the way, I want to say hello to anyone who joined, because we have, I believe, many new viewers. Hello there. I hope you enjoyed this one. And like, it leads me to another question to you personally. What should Rockstar do in this summer update to make you change your mind? To make you say that, well, finally we got something maybe not excellent, but I mean, good. What should there be?
So you're asking me or chat?
Yeah, you, of course you.
Oh,
So,
it's they have to add a new role to the game. They have to add and if they add a new role to the game, I'd like to see them actually add multiple roles. Something big, something like Frontier's Pursuits. Because it needs to be a large update. It needs to have a decent amount of content, because Frontier's Pursuits had plenty of content until December. Like, we had like September, October, November, and then December Moonshiners. A lot of people, that was enough content for them to play until December. But when Rockstar threw the Naturalist at us, they just, had Naturalist up. They just run around, hunt these, animals, and that was pretty much it. And then, they had the legendary animals, like, I understand every week, but the legendary animals were nowhere near as fun as the legendary bounties. The legendary bounties each week, that was just much more fun and much more enjoyable. So it needs to be a big update. It needs to have, I'd say at least, more than one role. It needs to have a lot of content. Don't be repetitive. And also have something new to buy, something good, not just clothes. Like, I'd like to see some new guns to the game, and I'd like to see, some kind of property. Maybe I'm asking too much of properties, but I'd still like to see some kind of new property.
so actually, you want to say that it should be like this robberies should be a role, and you will have to buy some sort of a property, maybe even connected to the role, like in GTA Online. You buy property, from there you make these plans for the future heists. So something like this you would consider a good update and a game changer for Red Dead Online.
Yeah, and if they add a property, they have to add house customization to it. They have to, like, let us change the floors, the walls, the colors, move around the furniture and stuff. Let us make each house unique, because if it's like the same interior for every house, it's gonna be boring. And then when you go to your friend's house, it's gonna be boring. Because remember, they hyped up the apartments in GTA Online when GTA Online was first coming out. They hyped out the penthouses, and they were like, oh, you can buy a penthouse and you can invite your friends to it. Well, what can you really do in the penthouse in GTA Online with your friends? There's nothing to do. It's like people just walk around and they'll sit by the TV, or they'll just go on like the little telescope. There's nothing to do, or they'll drink the green juice. It's just there's nothing to do in the apartments in GTA Online. So hopefully, if they add Red Dead Online, they do something more. And I'd like to see it that if they add like a catalog or a business room into the house, and that one you can buy mash for the moonshine business, and you can buy supplies for the camp business. Like, you hit a button in the catalog in one of the rooms in the house, and you can just resupply both of your businesses at the same time. If they did that, I'd be kind of happy with that. I think that would be a decent update.
I definitely don't think they will do like something about your last request, because they want to make us ride around, or at least use fast travel between spots. I don't think it's gonna change. But about the properties that is gonna be unique somehow, I completely agree, because I mean, what's the point in a moonshiner bar? It's pretty much the same for anyone. You can change the theme, but it's not really customization, in my opinion. So I would expect to see something cool from property.
I saw one of your subscribers. I saw a comment where he said, from Jack Knife, didn't GTA Online take about 3 years to get its act together? And that's that comment is actually true. I know, like, people attack Reddit Online for, like, the lack of updates, and I agree with it. And it does piss me off what they're doing. GTA Online did take about, how long did GTA Online take? It took until like at least March 2015 to actually start growing, and that's like, the game came out October 1st, 2013 online.
But
So
it's one and a half
a year and
year.
a half later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
year
one
and
and
a
a half
half.
years. And then GTA Online, it started growing like with the heist, but then like when they added like the the executives and other criminals update when they added like the CEO cargo warehouses. That was like their first business. That got people into the grind, and that like the game started growing from that point. So like that's what what some people don't understand is that GTA Online took years to grow and to get to the point where it's at. When GTA Online first came out, it was a disaster. Like when the game first came out, it was so glitchy, it was so buggy, it was so terrible. I remember like the first day you could barely connect, and then the second day afterwards, like your characters would get deleted. Like I spent an entire day just grinding the game. I got up to rank 10. I saved up enough for an apartment. I got off the game. I played that day maybe like over 8 hours. Got on the game the next day. My character was deleted. My apartment was gone just because of the crappy servers, and that's that's how much GTA Online had barely any content when it released. It was kind of similar to State Red Dead Online. I was hoping that the Rockstar would do something like that with Red Dead Online, but unfortunately that's the way it's going. But at the same time, maybe when I look at GTA Online, maybe it does give me some hope that the better updates are to come much in the future.
Yeah.
GTA Online's early updates kind of sucked.
But I mean, you just said 1.5 year. Now we in Red Dead Online, it's the same, pretty much the same state for 2.5 years. So it's even more, and I believe in 2.5 years, GTA Online was pretty successful and way better shape, in way better shapes than Red Dead Online right now. I'm not quite sure, but it's just what I think. So yeah, I also hope that they just waiting, for I don't know, for next chance to sell, and then to start developing Red Dead Online. But again, it's just this game has so much potential. Yeah, I see the same comment from Jake D in the chat. Yes, it has so much potential, but they are not hurrying into doing at least something. And it's super weird, it's super suspicious, and unfortunately nothing changes over time. I just hope that summer update will make this game better, much better, because otherwise I don't know what's gonna happen to Red Dead Online, the games that we all love. And yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say is, what kind of pisses me off sometimes is when I see like this massive fanboyism like regarding like GTA Online. And I argue with people that defend GTA Online to the end, and these people didn't even play GTA Online half the time that I played. Like I have like over 400 days spent on GTA Online. That's like that's over a year that I spent on playing the game, and I see these comments of just these ridiculous comments constantly defending GTA Online, saying like, this is the best game ever, and like, I see comments of people saying like, oh, GTA Online had all this content at launch, and it's like people that didn't even play the game right when it came out, people that started playing the game maybe like around 2016, 2017, and these people are trying to school me and like, tell me that like, GTA Online was a massive success when it came out, when the reality is no, it was a disaster when it came out. I remember the launch. It was GTA Online was so boring when it came out. Like there was barely anything to do. It didn't start getting fun for me until like the next gen version came out, because and the only reason I got into it when next gen came out was because there was no new games on PS4. There was always nothing to do on PS4. We didn't have backwards compatibility with PS3, and so we had to rely on just new PS4 games to come out. And GTA Online was one game that I got into because there wasn't really much games to at the time. But GTA Online, barely any content, and yet people act like it had all this content, all these businesses, heists, and everything. They act like all of that was in day one in the game, when it in reality wasn't. That took years to add into the game.
Yeah, but I mean, this argument sounds pretty optimistic. So possible that in Red Dead Online they will do it. Yes, with a delay, but we always can say the delay is just because of pandemic, let's say. So it's and all these delays are because of pandemic.
The point that I'm making is that people use GTA Online in that aspect to attack Red Dead Online. Like I've seen so many comments of people saying like, oh, there's all this content and all this stuff in GTA Online. We have businesses and heists and all this, and Red Dead Online has nothing in it. Well, Red Dead Online has nowhere near the amount of content that GTA Online has in terms of activity. Sure, I agree, but at the same time, as it took years for this stuff to be added. Like the first business in GTA Online, that wasn't added until June 2016, and the game came out October 2013. So that's 2.5 years after the game came out. When the first business in Red Dead Online that was added, September 2019. That's not even a year into the game. So I think when it came to adding to businesses, they did it better, faster on Red Dead Online. But now they seem to be slacking again, and they seem to be slacking in favor of GTA Online. And I hope it's not the case where Red Dead Online gets thrown in the dumpster bin and just GTA Online gets all the attention.
I mean, since you've said about this, yeah, really, they received Red Dead Online received pretty cool update, which was Frontier Pursuits pretty fast. I mean, I just wonder what would happen if they continued this temp. Let's say if last summer we would receive not Naturalist, but something comparable to Frontier Pursuits, and December something comparable to Moonshiner update. I'm pretty sure that Red Dead Online now would have been in a such better state if that happened. But for some reasons they decided to change the direction a little bit to the Naturalist update, and I don't know why. And I hope they will change the direction again. But I mean, we will see. And so about this, how to say it, about the announcement that they've made. Like, what do you think? Why they've made it? Because my personal opinion is they've made it not for players but for investors. Last Tuesday, this announcement.
That's actually a really good point. I actually didn't think about that myself. That it actually might be for the investors. It might be to get the investors excited and hoping that their stock actually increases in value. That actually might be you might be right on that. Yeah. It could possibly be to get the investors all hyped up, but because they see that Red Dead Online is like one of their newest products, well, fairly new product, and they're releasing new DLC for it. But like I said, I hope that there's something more to this DLC, because this DLC, I'm expecting this DLC to be massive, and well, at least I hope it's massive. I'm also skeptical at the same time, but I actually made a tweet a few days ago. I think maybe you responded to the tweet, but I made a tweet and it's actually is it my most popular tweet that I've ever made? I don't know if there's a way to check that, what your most popular tweet is, but it is definitely one of my most popular tweets, and it has 822 likes. And the tweet basically that I wrote there is no excuse on why the GTA Online update should be larger than the Red Dead update this summer. The last 3 updates on Red Dead Online were massive letdowns, and GTA Online's last update was so massive. So basically, there, in my opinion, I'm gonna get the most pissed off, if I find out that the GTA Online update is larger than the Red Dead update. Because if I find out that the GTA update is larger than the Red Dead update, that is gonna basically confirm 100% for me at that point that Rockstar is neglecting Red Dead Online for GTA Online. Because of what they did, like last December with that Cayo Perico heist, that thing was massive. And if you compared that to Red Dead Online, what we got like 10 new roles and some new bounty hunter missions in free mode. That's it. And you're comparing like a new location, a new heist, all these new vehicles and all this stuff. Like that's not comparable. If I see that this car meet update that's coming out in GTA Online, if this car meet update is larger than this Red Dead robbery update, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be happy.
And I mean, the problem with Cayo Perico update being so big, in my opinion, that it kind of ruined the last argument that fanboys had, because I've heard it a lot, like, don't go that hard on Rockstar, it's a pandemic right here, they just cannot develop anything better than Naturalist, despite the fact that there are other companies who also making open worlds, and Fallout 76 receiving some good update in the middle of pandemic, and so on. Division 2 received something cool, I don't remember, but still, and now Rockstar releases really big solid update in the middle of pandemic, but for GTA Online. So how are you gonna defend Rockstar now? It was like my question, and many people actually lost hope in Red Dead Online the moment when Cayo Perico was released, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, if the summer update will be bigger in GTA Online, it will be super weird, because they definitely have this tendency of releasing big update for Red Dead Online in summer and small update for GTA Online, and big update for GTA in December and small for Red Dead Online. But if it's gonna change, well, yeah, it's gonna be over for Red Dead Online hopes, unfortunately. Anyway, now it's a time for chat to ask your questions to Professional. So go on and don't be afraid. I will pick the most interesting questions, and hopefully Pro will answer.
And I wanted to ask you something, PvP Cats, before I forget.
Sure.
But you have more experience with the PvP in Red Dead Online than I do. Like when I play Red Dead Online, I focus more on businesses, making money and just having fun. But like I know I'm PvP in this game. I don't, I wouldn't say that I'm a bad player. I'd say fairly decent, not a god, definitely. But like when I sometimes I don't know if you see my streams, but sometimes like I join these free mode events with my posse, and like I come across like these major sweats on what a sweat is, right? I read that online. I come across these major sweats and like that I'm playing against, and it's like I run like a really big damage build, and like I'm running the trying to remember the card's name.
Focus Fire.
Never without one. Focus Fire. Necessity Breeds, and then I'm running the one with the each consecutive shot does more damage than the last, and the one where when I get closer to death, I do more damage. So I'm running all of those, and what I run is I run the Springfield rifle with express rounds, and so Springfield rifle that does the most damage besides the sniper rifles, and so like I aim for like the upper chest. And like I am using focus fire, combining those with those other cards, and I'm using express rounds. And and usually for the most part, I'll take people down in 2 shots to the chest, and they're done with the Springfield rifle. And when I'm playing these free mode events, I'll shoot these guys like 5-6 times in the chest, and they're still alive. And then they'll turn around, take out the Lancaster repeater, and just shoot me in the head, and that's it. It's done. And I think that that's ridiculous. And the thing is, when my stream was like watching me play that, like the stream was like, what the hell? Like, the stream basically, their reaction was one of 2 things. It's like half of the stream was saying, oh, those guys are using some tank cards and they're just tonic spamming. And then the other half of the stream, they were saying that they were actually cheating. And like, I'm playing on the PlayStation, but they were saying that they were using some kind of controller or something like that. That was like that they were able to tonic spam and I don't even know what that is, but they were saying that they were using a controller where they could tonic spam and shoot at the same time. But...
Okay, first of all, your build is just terrible for PvP. Pretty much anything is not good here. Springfield rifle, no good. Necessity Breeds is a terrible ability card, just don't use it pretty much never. And winning streak is questionable, extremely questionable. So, I mean, it's no wonder that you cannot kill people in a tank build, because tonic plus defensive ability cards, and it will take like the whole day for you with Springfield rifle, which by the way loses a lot of damage with the distance, like insane amount of damage. They nerfed it heavily like 2 years ago, but now it's worthless just because of this. Damage is pathetic on the bigger ranges. It really will take you like 10 shots if person has like tonic level 3, at least some defensive ability cards. So it's not a Chronos, because Chronos works in a different way. It not gives you protection. And yeah, people, there is a glitch. What you've been said, it's a glitch. You can do it even without tonic. People can drink tonics while under fire and while in the die. It's just with modded controller, it's easier to do. But I mean, some people can do it like. It's not that hard to do even without modded controller. But I don't even think it's the case in your particular situation. It's just your build loses heavily to any tank build. It just has no chance, no chance at all.
My damage build, it usually does pretty well in PvP. Like I get a bunch of kills. I do fairly well in like, in these events that I go up against. But like when I'm running against these people that like, they spam the tonics, that's usually like when it becomes a major issue. And like maybe I should change it around. I don't really mess with the ability cards that much. But like usually when I play games, I do tend to focus on damage cards. Like I don't really like tank cards or like healing cards. I usually focus on damage cards, like or damage abilities perks, I should say, when I play games. And the reason I like damage stuff is because the way I see it, if I can kill somebody really quickly, that stops all the damage coming at me. So I don't need a tank card, or I don't need. That's just the way that I personally see it. And so that's my justification for using like damage cards. But like I said, I kill people really quickly. Like if you see my streams, like most of the time I'm killing people pretty fast and free with just 2 shots to the chest and they're done. But when I run up against some of these people, sometimes I like 5 shots with a Springfield of express rounds. It's not that I'm even shooting these people at long distance. Like sometimes it'll be like maybe like 50 meters or so or under that. Like I'll shoot them in the upper chest, and they 5 times with a Springfield rifle. Let me come on. Like they're just diving and stuff. I get it. They're diving, but I'm still hitting them. They're clearly getting the hit marker, and it's like I'm not doing anything. And then they take out the Lancaster and just shoot me in the head. I just don't. I think that's kind of stupid. I think that the reliance on headshots. I just don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, you said you're killing people. You know why? It's because those who you're killing are not prepared to PvP and not like focused on PvP. They just came to have fun, I don't know, complete the showdown. If any person will just drink a tonic, level 3 tonic, the special health cure, there is nothing you will be able to do him with your build. And I understand, I like in all games, I like to make these builds, focused on a maximum damage, just like you are. I think it's more fun to play. It's called glass cannon builds usually. But unfortunately, the reality in Red Dead Online is following. Tonics are too strong, and tank builds stacks with tonics. So if you have defensive ability cards, you increase the profit from tonics dramatically, and there is nothing damage build can do against defensive build. It's just no chance, not a chance. It's huge disadvantage.
If these tonics or that stuff was nerfed, then I guess damage cards would be more effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Because I just don't do PvP that much. I just I focus on grinding and just making money and stuff like that. But and I'm not terrible at PvP. I kill people plenty of times, but it's when I run up against some of these people, and I've had people that watch my streams, and people are saying, oh, he's using Chronos or whatever you were saying before that but I don't want to accuse people of cheating with no proof. So when I'm going up against somebody, I'm not going to say on the stream that they're cheating, because I don't know 100%.
Yeah, in most cases.
But it's I just personally think it's just stupid when I'm pumping somebody full of express rounds, Springfield rifle in the upper chest, and I'm running damage cards which are supposed to do damage, and yet I'll shoot them 5 times in the chest, and somehow that they can recover from all of that, take out Lancaster and just headshot me. And there was one time when I was doing a Rail Baron, and these guys were just destroying me. They were just they were, I would shoot them so many times and they would still be alive, and I got pissed off. And what I did was I took out the Lancaster repeater and I started going for headshots. And the second I took out the Lancaster repeater, I started owning them. So the same guys that were owning me, the second I took out Lancaster and I just started going for their head, I killed them so many times. And what happened was these guys started using explosive rounds on me at that point when I started going for headshots and killing them. So they didn't like me playing the exact same way that they were playing. But I think that this issue could be solved if you increase the damage to the upper chest. I saw one guy in your comments that said that don't a lot of games rely on headshots. Sure, games rely on headshots, but not like Red Dead Online. Red Dead Online, it's when you go into PvP, it's 9 times out of 10 people are going for the head. It's people don't really shoot at the body unless they're sniping. That's the only time I see people shooting for the head of the body, when they're sniping. But headshots. I think a headshot still should be a one-shot kill because it's your head after all. But what I think they should do to balance this out is maybe, either nerf the tank cards or the tonics, buff the damage cards, or just buff bullets in general, so that body shots do more damage than normal. If you did that, I don't think that this would be.
It's not gonna help. You know why? Because in a tank build, I actually was making one video a long time ago, but I was testing how many headshots from a Lancaster it would take to kill a person in a tank build, and it was more than 10 shots from the close distance. So it's just in a head. So it's ridiculous. This game is unbalanced if we're talking about PvP. And the main reason for this unbalance is tonics. If they remove tonics from PvP completely, this game will be way more balanced than it is. And there is no other solution. Actually, in a hardcore series, this game is more or less balanced. When they remove all this tonics, they die ability cards. They are also not that much balance. And what else do they remove there? Auto aiming. It's fine PvP there, but in a regular showdown modes, well, PvP is a joke in my opinion. I love PvP, as you can tell from my nickname, right? And I've been playing PvP quite a lot at the beginning of beta, but then I was disappointed. You know what? I've been talking to John Slyreckon a lot about this, and he was disappointed in Red Dead Online's PvP as well, despite the fact that he's also like focused on PvP type of player. So unfortunately, they messed up here like a lot, like a lot. So it's pretty sad to see that they lost a lot of potential here as well, because this game can be fun if we're talking about PvP, but it's not that much of a fun. And so yeah, but as for your build, necessity breeds no good. Well, focus fire is more or less good, but you want to use sniper rifles with it. Springfield is just not good as well. So either sniper rifles or try to go for a headshots. There are like two strategies. If you go for body shots, there is no better option for using sniper rifle. If for headshots, well, Lancaster, just you said, is a better strategy. But if you don't personally like this playstyle, well, you probably be in a disadvantage all the time. Maybe try tank build with, I don't know, with sniper rifle, with Springfield is not that effective, but I mean, at least you will still, I mean,
Well,
you will still kill new players easily, but with more experienced players, you will have less problems and with your build. So that's my point of view.
I do like the Springfield rifle. It's, you know, one of my favorite rifles. I do like using it, you know, against AI and stuff. You know, I like the single action, like, you know, version of it. You know, it's a single shot rifle. So, you know, I have a lot of fun with it, and I like using it in PvP. You know, for especially going for body shots. But you know, when and it's not even like low. Sometimes I'll own low level players, but it's like even like sometimes when I go up against like, you know, 200, 300 level players, like I'll be, you know, destroying them with the Springfield rifle. But it's, you know, sometimes when I go up against like these, you know, these players like level 500 and such, and then like, you know, these tank tonic spammers, you know, that's the point when it's it gets a bit ridiculous. And you know, and even me, I don't want to play with like the tonics. I'm like, I'll change my ability cards up, but like I just personally think that it's dumb, in my opinion, that somebody can just take that many shots to the body and just,
Indeed.
you know, just shoot you in the head. And it's just, I think the PvP needs balancing. But I'll say this, despite the problems that the PvP has in Red Dead Online, this is nowhere near as broken as the PvP in GT Online. You know, I'm not saying PvP is perfect in this game, but like if you compare this to GT Online, like GT Online is the most unbalanced PvP that I've ever seen. Like that game, it's just it is so broken. People do the cheapest things in that game: ghost organization, spam, passive mode, like Oppressor Mark IIs, teleport to their facilities, orbital cannon you. Like that PvP in that game is just garbage. Like I'm sorry to say, like it's terrible. Like I don't like the PvP in GT Online at all. I don't think it takes really much skill, in my opinion. Skill in Red Dead Online, it takes much more skill, but even in Red Dead Online, there's still issues. It's not a perfect game, obviously.
Yeah, it's far from perfect. If you compare it to some, you know, PvP, really PvP focused game, pretty much anyone, Red Dead Online is nowhere near. But you said an interesting thing about like PvP in GTA Online being broken, and I've heard it many times. And what it makes me think about, maybe they are making it on purpose. I mean, Rockstar, making it on purpose, you know, just to piss people off and have emotions. And have emotions from people who like suffered from this PvP, and have emotions from people who just, you know, bought shark cards to buy Oppressor Mark II in the first day when they are playing, or something like this. So have you ever had this thought about that it's a strategy of Rockstar to make PvP as crappy and as imbalanced as as possible?
I see it too. One of my friends, you know, he said that when they added the first Oppressor, that it was a mistake and that Rockstar could have learned from it. But then they added the Oppressor Mark II, and that, you know, I know you don't play GT Online, but I'm sure you know the Oppressor Mark II is what really broke and destroyed the game. And the thing about it is, I remember when that stupid garbage Oppressor Mark II was like first coming out, and like it was that was like 2018, mid 2018. It came out with the nightclub DLC. It was like it was a drip feed. And I remember that YouTubers found it in the in-game files, like before the it came out, and like the vast majority of YouTubers, when Oppressor Mark II was coming out, they were just saying like, oh, like it's fine, it's not gonna be broken, it's gonna be okay, it's not that big of a deal. And I remember like I didn't even play on PC, but like I saw videos of like these people on PC like testing out before it came out, and I said this thing is gonna be broken. And I said the reason that it's going to be broken is it's going to be broken for two reasons. The first thing is this thing has flares. It has countermeasures. The Oppressor Mark 1 does not have flares. And the second thing is this thing is a lot easier to hit targets on the ground with than the Oppressor Mark 1, because the Oppressor Mark 1 at least you have to glide it and you can't just stop in midair. With the Oppressor Mark 2 you can completely control it and you can hit targets with precise accuracy on the ground. So I said this thing is going to be broken. And the fact that the missiles on it were even more accurate, this thing is going to break GT Online. But I had people like coming to my channel and saying like, oh, you're being stupid, it's going to be make the game more fun, and look at us, this is now what, almost 3 years later at this point, after the Oppressor Mark II has been added, it has completely changed GT Online, and not for the better. It has destroyed the game and any kind of PvP. And I laugh when people tell me that the Oppressor Mark II takes skill to use. I've seen so many comments with that. Oh, I'm an Oppressor Mark II MLG, blah blah blah. This, it's just it's some of the stupidest stuff that I've seen.
Okay, but I mean I don't play GTA Online, but even I know that Oppressor Mark II is broken and everyone hates it. Like all the videos I've seen, everyone knows it. But Rockstar is not fixing this thing for more than 2 years now, so it actually benefits my theory that they just want it to be broken. They feel that it gonna give them better results. I don't know why exactly, but maybe they have their own research. I mean, it's super easy to fix, right? Super easy. They can fix it.
I kind of agree with your point. And you know what I think? This might sound like really strange, but I think that the reason that they're doing it is to appease the younger players. That's what I think. And because I'll tell you, the vast majority of players on GTA 5 and GTA Online, they didn't play the older GTA games. A lot of these players. Like, and it surprises me. It just honestly surprises me the amount of people that have not played the older GTA games. And not playing the older GTA games. Okay, I'm not hating on them. I'm not criticizing them. But like, I see like a lot of comments of just people saying like, oh, the GTA 5 is the best GTA, the other ones suck. And like, I had people like when I was doing Vice City, I had people coming to my Vice City videos and saying, oh, the graphics in this game suck. It's like, this is a 2002 game. Like this is it's so like you have these kids and these teenagers that play like GTA Online. They never played the older GTA games, or they barely played them, and they act like they're experts on the GTA series. And usually I notice it's the kids and the teenagers. This group of people, they tend to like the Oppressor Mark II much more than like the veterans of the game. Like the veterans, the people that played GTA Online since day one, and the people that played the older GTA games, especially the GTA 4 veterans like myself, we hate the Oppressor Mark II because the Oppressor Mark II represents everything that went wrong with GTA Online at that point. When I look at GTA, because I'm playing GTA 4 right now, and I look at the Oppressor Mark II, like I see like stupid flying motorcycles like firing missiles at each other, and then I look at GTA 4, I'm like, this is the same universe? Like did both of these games take place in the same universe? It's like one game that's like really brutal and like dark storyline, the underworld of crime, and then the other one you have this these stupid flying motorcycles, and I see like most of the time it's these kids and these teenagers that are defending the Oppressor Mark II. I very rarely see adults, or I very rarely see like veterans, and not trying to criticize teenagers here, because when I was a teenager I played GTA games, but even if I was like a teenager, like I would still hate this stuff, because like I like GTA when it was about the crime. I like it when it focuses on the gangs, when it focuses on the mafias, the drug deals, the bank robberies, not when it focuses on this crazy nonsense futuristic garbage action, whatever you want to call it.
But okay, let's shift to the Red Dead Online. What do you think? Is it possible that the same thing will happen to Red Dead Online, and from Westworld it will turn into some crazy trash like flying horses and stuff?
The thing is it has actually already started down that path, but not like the extreme where you're not going to see like flying horses or anything like that. I know people joke about that, but remember what they did. I think it was May 2019. they made all the animations on the guns faster.
Yeah,
So they
it's
made the guns just shoot much. That was the first step towards that.
it's not
basically.
Frontier's
And
Pursuit. I believe it's Frontier Pursuits.
was
Yeah.
it Frontiers?
I
I don't
think,
remember,
yeah.
but I know it was like 2019. One of the
Yeah,
updates, they made
2019
the guns
definitely.
they reloads, and they made the guns just shoot in general just much faster.
And
And
moving speed, your shifting speed also was increased.
yeah, yeah. So get this. I played the single player, like a few months after that update, and I forgot about how much slower the guns were in the single player. And the thing is, I like the slower animations better. Like I know some people might have a preference and like the faster animation, but I like the slower animations better. The only thing that I liked better is I like that you looted faster. That I think we can agree was better. The looting
Yeah,
was,
that was
it
too long.
took a little bit too
long,
long.
yeah.
But like the actual gun animations, like where you could fire some of these guns like super fast. Like I thought it got a ridiculous because it made us feel more like we were in the Wild West, that we couldn't shoot like an automatic weapon or something like that. But and you actually had to be precise in your shots. You couldn't just spam. But now, like especially like Lancaster or something like that, like you can spam that thing almost like an automatic weapon because of just the fact that the fire rate on them is just so much faster, and the reload is just so much faster. So I think that was kind of the first step towards it. And the strafing, like the strafing, like in GTA Online, that was like the biggest problem. I remember that in GTA Online, people had the marksman rifle out, like back in the day, and they would just strafe back and forth, spamming this automatic sniper rifle at you. It made the sniping so broken. And now Reddit Online, like you get into fights with these people at like, long range, the sniper rifles, and it's like both of you are just strafing at long distance with the Carcano, and it's like, and to me, it seems like it takes more luck than skill, because both of you're both going left and right, and you're basically trying to time it exactly when you hit the person. So it seems like that form of sniping, at least in my opinion, takes more luck than skill, moving back and forth. That's not to say precision shooting doesn't take skill. Precision sniping does take skill, but like when you're fighting somebody and you're both just spamming left and right, that seems more like it's a lucky shot to me than an actual like a skill-based shot.
No, it's still about skill, but I just hate how it looks. It's like two penguins on ice sliding in front of each other. I also preferred PvP in Red Dead Online before this change. I remember how I was like unhappy about this change, and everyone I know was not like a big fan of these changes. Yes, obviously with time I got used to this, and I don't even remember how slow the game was. I'm pretty sure I would be surprised if I will play Red Dead single player and see how the game's slow is. But still, I don't like this change as well. But on the other hand, they have not done anything in this direction of, fantastic worlds and unrealistic stuff, like pretty much anything. So maybe we are safe here from such changes that happen to GTA Online. What do you think? Or you still predict something like this will happen? I'm even talking about some crazy stuff like vampires or something like this. Just
I mean, like, there was a lot of people that were saying, for instance, that Rockstar might bring in that one legendary bounty that they had when it was not too that long ago, but it was the one in Hanging Dog Ranch where it was like the machine gun, wagon, like that. Like if they added the machine gun turret wagon, I wouldn't really be against that, because it would be kind of expensive.
Same.
And at the same time it's not like the Oppressor Mark II, because if they added the machine gun wagon, then you would need two people to operate it. First of all, you need somebody to drive it and somebody to get into the turret. Secondly, it's not going to be nowhere near as fast as like a regular horse, so you could get away. And thirdly, you could just shoot the horse, and then the thing would be completely useless.
Indeed.
So I don't think that would be as broken as the Oppressor Mark II. If anything, what concerns me the most is adding an overpowered weapon. So if they add a new gun to the game, if that new gun is something like Varmint Rifle 2.0 or something like that, like when the Varmint Rifle used to be a problem back in the day, that could be a serious issue. And what I'm thinking they could do is they might add like a semi-auto rifle or something like that. Like, because semi-auto rifles, they weren't really common, but they were, being built at this time, and they did exist. Prototypes did exist. And like, I don't know if you played Battlefield 1, it's a World War I game,
yeah,
but like Battlefield 1, as you know, like, the majority of the guns, like 90% of the guns in Battlefield 1 were, other than the bolt action rifles, were guns that yes, they did exist at the time, but they were more prototypes during World War One. And so they had like all these crazy prototypes, semi-automatic weapons and
Yeah.
automatic weapons, and they just threw them all in the game. And it made it seem like the vast majority of soldiers were using these guns when that's not what they used in World War One. And I could see them doing something like that with Red Dead Online, where they add like some crazy semi-auto rifle or something like that. They add that to the game, and what happens is if they had a semi-auto rifle in the game, I think that could break the game completely. Because if you have something that fires semi-auto at long range, at that point you could just headshot spam even faster than the Lancaster, and I think that could break the game, because the fire rate on the varmint rifle, that was almost like a semi-auto automatic weapon at that point, because just how fast it was.
But they
It was
nerfed
really
it.
accurate.
They nerfed
Yeah,
it.
they nerfed it. You're right, but like when I'm talking about when it was in its prime, when it was like the major issue, then they could do something like that. So like I don't mind a semi-automatic like pistol, because we've had those in Red Dead games. Those are fine. Those are close to medium range. But please don't add like a semi-automatic rifle, because I think that could be a major issue.
But I mean, yeah, but what could they add? I mean, people are asking for new weapons, and actually we have a lot of weapons already in Red Dead Online. They should add something different, right? So, I have no idea what could they add. Let's say M1899. It's gonna be not that much different from Mauser and semi-automatic pistol on practice, I think. But they have to do something different, and I just have no ideas what could they add. So maybe they don't have ideas as well, and therefore they will add something, overpower it like semi-automatic rifle.
What about the Mosin Nagant? That rifle?
Yeah.
The
But
Mosin Nagant would be a perfect rifle, I think, to add to Red Dead Redemption 2. I think that would be a great rifle. The Mosin Nagant, that is the most it's a Russian rifle. It's the most mass-produced bolt-action rifle in history.
Yeah.
And it came out in 1891, so it's definitely like, it definitely would fit the time, like 1898, 1899, like when Red Dead Online is taking place. And when I talked about the Mosin Nagant before in like my videos, like people would say, oh, it doesn't make sense that the Russian rifle would be in the Wild West, but at the same time as you have the Carcano, which, so the people that are saying that a Russian rifle wouldn't be accurate in the Wild West, those same people by that logic should be against the Carcano then, because the Carcano is an Italian bolt-action rifle. Why is it in the middle of the Wild West? Some people might say it was Angelo Bronte's Mafia that has it, but at the same time, it was in the first Red Dead Redemption game also. So if they have like an Italian bolt-action rifle, they could definitely add a Russian bolt-action rifle. So I would like to see them add a Mosin Nagant. That's one gun that I would be really looking forward to. If they had a Mosin Nagant, please let us use iron sights. I don't want it to be just a sniper rifle. I'd like to use it with iron sights. So I like the Mosin Nagant. I think it's a great rifle. So I'd like to see them add the Mosin Nagant to Red Dead Online if possible. I think that would be a fun gun to add.
I actually saw a funny suggestion from Shred Der Wolf, AK-47. They might add, since we're talking about Russian weapons, to Red Dead Online. And unfortunately, they can do it someday, unfortunately. Because the funny thing, I was talking with, I don't know whether you know this dude, but his channel is Man vs. History. He's historically professor, and he makes this Red Dead Online channel doing stuff like how to create historically accurate costumes for bandit, for cowboy, and stuff like this. But we were talking about him on one of the podcasts, and he said that sedative ammo in any form was not existed until 1960s. Yet they still added it in the Naturalist update. So I think they don't even care too much about historical accuracy when we're talking about weapons and other stuff. So we can see pretty much anything here over time. And yeah, they will just say, well, it's a prototype, so like whatever. And the balance will be broken. But I mean, yeah, but it's still, two sides of the coin we have. On one hand, people are asking for new weapons. On the other hand, we have kind of a high variety of weapons in the game already. So to add something different, it should be a little bit overpowered and maybe historically inaccurate. But I agree with you that there are a lot of weapons that they can still add, like Mosin Nagant, like Sharp's rifle, which is known like a buffalo rifle from Red Dead Redemption 1. It's also going to, it can be like a sniper rifle, but with iron sight, without optics. It's an interesting solution, actually, and with auto-aiming disabled. So they might do something like this. I hope that they will add some new weapons, but yet they have not made any promises yet. Just because I love to test weapons and see which one is good and which one is not. So actually, we had some questions, and I even marked them in the chat to you when we moved from this direction. But unfortunately, I cannot find them now because chat runs super fast. So instead, I will ask you a question after I will answer the questions that have been addressed to me like many times. What horse am I using? It's Ardennes horse. And like the question for you is also about horses. What do you think about the horses system in Red Dead Online? Do they have to change something in the way horses work? Like all the horses are pretty much close if we're talking about effectiveness. So what do you think? Or it's fine?
I mean, I don't know, I mean, I'm not an expert. I don't know, what they could really do to make the horses better or different. I know that a lot of them, are very similar, like, in top speed, like, when you get them down to top speed, a lot of them are very similar. This is, why races are usually really close in Red Dead Online too. But, I used the Black Arabian horse, which, I spent 40 gold on that. And then I have like, I have the scrawny one, and then I have that's everyone has that. But then I have I had like the chest or something. I had that with the Ultimate Edition. I barely used that.
Yeah.
And then I have the
black one.
And then I had the other one. I don't even remember the horse's name, but it was like a trader horse, like a big trader horse. I have that one, and the only reason I bought the trader horse is because I fell for false advertising, because when I looked at the catalog and I saw a picture of the horse, it showed the horse actually pulling the wagon, and so I thought that if I purchased this horse, I thought that would upgrade like my wagon horse, but that didn't happen. Instead, they just gave me this horse that. That is not that has nothing to do with the wagon, and so like I have that horse. I leveled it up, so that one's leveled up too. But I don't really have a need for more horses. Like I just see it as a waste of money. Maybe for like looks and stuff like that, maybe that. But I personally don't see like a need for like other horses.
Yeah, so you're not like into this horse stuff.
I like that there's a lot of horses in the game. I'm not saying that they shouldn't add horses, but I'm just personally not into like I'm not into like the horses and stuff like that. I have like Black Arabian that I use, and that's good enough for me. I don't really need like another horse or.
Well, yeah, but I just asked because I was surprised how many players are like really interested in horses theme in Red Dead Online, how hot topic that is, different horses. But unfortunately, again, we have this situation where Rockstar cannot really add something significant or different if we're talking about horses. I mean, every new horse they add in is pretty much the same as the previous one, but looks cooler. But on the other hand, since look is the most important parameter, why not? Why not? But I actually want to see rideable donkey. It's my personal wish. And yeah, the last question for you. We're gonna end the stream with this kind of weird question, but would you like to see some seasonal events that are, let's say, don't fit into Red Dead Online setting? For example, zombies on Halloween, or some, I don't know, aliens on some day where that is connected to aliens. I don't even know when. Something like this. Occasional, obviously.
The zombies, I think that would definitely be cool to have something like that on Halloween, but like aliens, probably not. I'm usually just not a fan of of alien stuff. It's just not for me. I really don't like sci-fi. I don't mind zombies, but like aliens, it's just the one reason I actually really don't like aliens is because of that ancient alien stuff. Like I remember, like I used to watch the History Channel when I was like a kid, and it's like I remember when it actually used to have like good content on it, and then they started doing the ancient alien stuff, and like every single thing, it's like, oh, maybe it was the aliens this, aliens that, and like it's like I just don't want to see any alien stuff personally. That's why I never really got into it on GT Online either. I'm just not into alien stuff personally.
But okay, what if not aliens, but in general, this idea of adding something stupid and weird, but only temporary and sometimes?
if it's temporary, sure. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so
Yeah. If it's like something for like an event or something like that,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I just wouldn't like to see some. I wouldn't mind if they had zombies like permanent in the game. I would be fine with that if it was like an undead nightmare or something like that. Like if it was like something different you connected to, not like just Reddit Online, but like an undead nightmare version of online. If they had something like that, yeah, I'd be completely fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, I know I promised that that was the last question, but I just remembered that the main question I wanted to ask you.
Oh, it's fine.
Like, in 2 years, Red Dead Online, how you imagine it? In 2 years from now?
2 years from now,
Yep.
one of two ways. One, if they barely give us any updates and they just do like what they're doing now, then I could see the player base shrinking to even half of what it is now, even less than that. Or if they actually add decent content, if they add 2 major updates a year or even 3 major updates a year, then I could see player base possibly tripling. So it all depends on how Rockstar plays their cards. If they barely do any update, player base is going to slowly go away on this game. And if they actually add content, they add new roles and they add new stuff to it, then yeah, I'll see. Then I think that their player base will triple, and I think they'll have plenty more stuff in the game.
Okay, but what's your personal bet? Which one is more probable? First one with like disaster, or second one with a success?
At the rate that we've been having these updates right now, the first one, the disaster route, I think that one is the most probable.
Oh, okay. So you're more on the pessimistic side when we're talking about the future of Red Dead.
Like half a year ago, I would have agreed with like version number 2, but like after what they did with Outlaw Pass 5, I started slowly losing hope with Rockstar.
Okay, hope that it's gonna change like next month. Yeah, it's not June yet still. Anyway, guys, thanks for anyone who joined. We had a lot of viewers today. Like chat was running wild. I was trying to keep an eye, but it was super hard. Yet I've seen many comments, and thanks to anyone who placed a like, who was communicating in the chat, obviously who supports me on the Patreon. Big thanks, and thanks. See you next time, and hope that next time we will really have something to discuss, because I still think that it's quite possible that we're gonna receive announcement on Friday, at least some information. And thank you, Pro, for joining me. We had a cool conversation today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.